From Nineveh, New York to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. From Jerusalem, New York to Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Let's ride. We want to ride shotgun with you for the next hour. Talkin Truckin with Deaton and Doty. Welcome to episode 51, everybody.
Hello.
Everybody's week going well?
Yeah. We're just one away from 1 year.
1 year. That's exciting. Before we get started with this action-packed video, you might ask, why am I hosting the podcast? Simply put, Russ has gotten really old. So it's past his bedtime. So Russ took off tonight to celebrate his 50th birthday with some friends and family. So we want to make sure we say big 5-0 to Russ. Happy birthday.
5-0.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and thanks for everything you do.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, wow. Well, you're a little past the club, aren't you?
Oh, never mind. No comment.
Closer to 60 now.
He said he's president.
Let's not go too far.
We know that Russ does a lot for us here, and we appreciate it. And I know everybody listened just the same for the content that he provides. So, but also joining us either on screen and in person today, we have Joel Howe in the wide world of sports for all things sports related. We do have the original Florida man, Mike Doty, with all the craziness in Florida. Ian Dunlap in the news, keeping us up to date week over week. And the infamous, famous Kumar, who keeps drivers on their toes to find out if he'll batter for $50 each week. So,
is he doing that?
Actually, we have bad news about Kumar. He is sick today. So
yes. He said he'd still be on. Has that changed?
It changed. He cursed me out after I asked.
Okay, cool. Well, we should get him on live then. That sounds like a plan.
we should call him anyways.
That would be great. Yeah, let's patch him in. We also have our highwaymen here across the United States. Ray Nieto, what's your 20, bud?
I am in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Jim Mackey, what's your 20?
I'm sitting in the truck stop in Marion, Iowa, getting ready to go see Mom.
Nate, your 20, bud?
Cottondale, Florida.
Ooh. And Kevin, what's your 20?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Spread out a little bit.
No parking.
Spread out a little bit. All right. Well, I say we just hop right into it.
Let's do
Ian,
it.
you're up
Let's
first.
go.
You want to go?
Yeah. I actually, we're going to start out with some sad news here.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. No, I'll try to end it in a better
That's better than closing with that.
Oh, Yellow got shot.
Can you see that? Yeah, C.W. McCall, a guy who wrote Convoy, has passed away. He was 93, passed away from cancer. But, yeah, I'm sure everyone's heard his music, and just want to let you guys know about that.
Name another song other than Convoy.
I can't do that.
What's that Rihanna song?
And then White House released some information yesterday. They think that they've been doing a crazy great job with this action to expand and improve trucking jobs that they've been doing for a while now. They say that they've had 876,000 CDLs since January 2021. That's like 25% of all the truckers that are out there. So I think that's just renewals and stuff. They've really added about 60,000 jobs, which I think that's just the industry itself. Overall, I don't see that really much that has happened. They have mentioned what they want to keep on working on, getting women into trucking and sexual assault awareness. But I think they really need to focus what affects every single driver out there, which truck leasing with the lease to purchase and detention times. That's something they need to focus on, and of course truck parking. I think those are three of the biggest issues in the industry, but not much has gotten done with those. And over in Mississippi, MDOT is providing a new service for trying to get homeless people out there to get their CDLs and help them, get a leg up on life and start improving things for them. So I think that's good, right? What do you guys think about that?
Well, there's an idea.
Can they see?
Give them a
What do
house.
you mean? Can they see?
That was a
Give them a
joke.
house on wheels.
They're not eyeless.
Yeah,
They
I-
stay clean. If they stay clean is the biggest problem, I think.
yeah, that's something to think about. But I don't think that they're probably giving them out to anybody, and they're still going through drug tests before they get a job and whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean that is a pretty good pairing. You think about the one thing with homelessness is you can't afford where you live. So if you had a basic job, then you kind of get free housing. It's a good way to get them off. Yeah, I like that. It's a good thought.
yeah,
I think I like that too, except for one thing is that a lot of the homeless people that don't have jobs and stuff, there's a reason for that is mostly intelligence.
yeah. I mean, everyone falls on
You go-
hard times, and it's hard to get
Right.
back out of
you know,
a
you go
hole.
you go into your veterans and like this and stuff that are homeless, and it's a wonderful thing to try to bring them into the industry.
Hmm.
But some of them out there, they just don't want to, and that's the reason why they are homeless.
Right. So hopefully they're going through all the safe procedures when they're picking candidates for that. So, lawmakers introduced bill that would give you a tax credit up to $7,500 for being a driver. For new drivers, it would also be $10,000. You have to have for the $7,500. You have to have at least 1,900 hours in the year, which I don't think that's very difficult for any of you guys. But that's something that is introduced, not pushed through yet. So who knows how far it'll get? What do you think, Christian?
It's 35 hours a week. Pretty substantial tax credit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not. The incentive is let's get out there and make some money. I don't think that this is going to be anything that moves the needle. But
Right.
I think it's a benefit. They're out in the road.
Mhm.
Everybody already knows. They already mark how much per diem to make sure that they don't have to pay taxes. So if they have an additional tax credit, that'd be great.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll even make it through, though.
Well, they've got a lot of eyes on them right now. I'd say for one time in history that they know that both sides. That's why there's some bipartisan efforts to work with transportation because they know it's a big deal. We pulled everybody through the hard times and continue to keep people fed and employed. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully it gets pushed through.
oh yeah.
All right. Border Agent K9 sniffs out 548 pounds of liquid meth, which I guess I didn't even know it came in liquid form like that. But you learn
Was that
something
in-
new
Why
every
the dog
day.
is still alive. He's been up for 3 weeks.
Oh man. Yeah.
So what's the street value? It says what, $3 million?
$3 million, but yeah, it was inside
it's in
the
the
fuel
fuel
tank.
tank.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Hazmat load, huh?
crazy.
Can you imagine how nervous that driver was when he got pulled over? He's like,
Oh my
it's in the fuel
God.
tank.
I,
Yeah, right.
I would just want to run.
That's like the second one I've seen like that
In the fuel tank.
that they've caught liquid meth in a fuel tank.
Really? It must be pretty standard then. Here, these 6 guys had this scheme going where they had broken into these fuel pumps and disabled something that counts how much fuel is going in and how much to charge them, and they were running it into a modified pickup truck bed. They would go and empty it to another container somewhere else, and then they were selling it to drivers. Anyways, they got caught and they are in a lot of trouble. So
Tampa Bay, Florida, Mike.
yeah,
It's right
yeah.
here. I was just gonna say Hillsborough County is just right. next
If you
county
notice,
over.
the
should've
only
said
guy that
that.
got away is the guy that looks like every guy at a NASCAR race, like the guy on the top right. Like
Looks like Nate.
fit in anywhere,
Right? Yeah.
Oh man,
I seen that before. I seen that scan before too, of where they. I'm not. This probably was something similar where they would pull up in a trailer over the things. Is that what it is?
yeah. They said it was like a modified pickup truck.
Oh yeah, I seen one where they had like those enclosed lawn trailers.
Mm-hmm.
They would pull those up over the, where
the tank lids.
the tank lids. Yep, and then
Really?
they would be back there in the trailer, and they would just pump all the gas and fuel out of the tanks, put it in that. And they had big tanks in the enclosed trailer, and they just pump it all out and roll.
That's clever. That's clever. Not clever enough.
That was
not
a
get
while
caught,
ago.
but, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
If anybody lost a trailer axle on 55 in Illinois, state police want to have a word with you. No, I'm just kidding. The guy didn't get very far, obviously.
Guess they didn't slide, huh?
Yeah, I slid all the way back.
Man, when I first bought my trailer, didn't have the airlock tandems, and it had the ones you had to go back and lock.
The spring,
the spring.
Yeah.
And I forgot to go back and lock it, and luckily the security guard, when I pulled up to the security guard and then went to take off, I heard that. Oh,
Yeah.
you know exactly what I forgot.
Yeah, and that right there is how you shift all your weight from your tandems to the street.
Yeah. In a hurry.
And that is really about it I got for you guys there today. So
Appreciate
Kept
the
dragging
update.
it.
Thank you,
Well,
sir.
no problem.
let's go to the wide world of sports with Joel Howe. What do you have on the docket
All
today,
right.
Joel?
What's up, fellas?
Who's that behind there?
That would be one Tiger Woods.
Weiger Toods.
Weiger Toods. We'll get to him
I'm trying
in
to
a
play
minute.
that later.
So much for the commercial break. What's up, guys? Here we are in the first week of April, going around the league in sports. Start off with some football. Go with the NFL news. April 28th, Thursday. We still have the draft coming up in a couple of weeks. More on that next week. That will be from Las Vegas. And over in the USFL, that's our new league coming up. Saturday, April 16th. We have 8 teams. They're all in training camp right now. And so we got some spring football coming up. And that is about it for that. Over in Major League Baseball, opening day is tomorrow. We got 9 games on the schedule. Leading off, we have Boston at New York Yankees. Have Milwaukee at Chicago Cubs Gym. New York
I'll be
Mets.
watching.
The Cubbies. New York Mets at Washington. Seattle at Minnesota. The Cleveland Guardians at KC. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. Cincinnati at champion Atlanta Braves. That'll be an ESPN game. Houston at LA Dodgers. And San Diego at Arizona. All tomorrow. Over in the NBA, we got the playoffs starting next week. That'll be the top 8 seeds in each conference. We have some teams, I think Brooklyn and Atlanta's battling for the final spot in the East. Other than that, no big changes. Still the same powerhouses, Miami, Boston, Philly, Milwaukee in the East. And over in the West, we have Phoenix, Memphis, Golden State, and Dallas. Those teams are probably sitting their starters. You don't want to bet in the last week unless they're trying to unless you're Atlanta or Brooklyn fighting for the final spot. And as I said, that will begin on the 16th as well, Saturday, April 16th. Over in NCAA men's basketball, congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks, who outlasted North Carolina Tar Heels, who came from ahead 15 points at the half. Nonetheless, better luck next year. Awesome Final Four. And congratulations to the Jayhawks. Over in the NHL, playoffs begin May the 2nd. And no big changes there in the Atlantic. Florida Panthers, the Metro Carolina Hurricanes, out west, Colorado Avalanche, and the far west, Calgary Flames. Some NASCAR news. This Saturday, Cup Series, Martinsville, Virginia. And the big race is next Sunday, the 17th, down in Bristol. And that will be on a dirt track. WrestleMania results. Congratulations, Roman Reigns won the Universal Heavyweight Championship last week. I would say that was a success. They had 150,000 people down in Dallas. So congratulations to Vince and the gang. And finally, over in golf, we have the Masters beginning tomorrow. That'll be Thursday through Sunday. And as you can see in my background, we have Tiger Woods, who's making a comeback 14 months after his accidents. Tiger's looking good. He says he's going to play. He comes in as the 8th seed in the tournament. Also included defending champion Hideki Matsuyama, who comes in at number 6. Number 5 is Xander Schauffele. Number 4, Rory McIlroy. Number 3, Dustin Johnson. Number 2, Scotty Scheffler. And coming in at number 1 is John Rahm. And that will begin tomorrow, 8 a.m., 11-minute intervals, all the way till 2 in the afternoon. That'll be round 1 and round 2 tomorrow. And that is about it in sports.
Is this
MMA action. What's that?
Tiger's first tournament back?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even know how he was going to, well, he's been training. If you haven't seen him, he's shredded. He looks good. I think Russ thinks of course, that's his hero. He thinks he's going to come in top 5. He could, but we will see. Good luck to him and the rest of the fellas this weekend down in Augusta, Georgia. And that's what's cracking in sports this week.
All right.
I just realized you had his mug shot behind you of all pictures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that wasn't yesterday.
That was a bad day for Tiger once again.
And the family. But that was then. So good luck.
So before we get right into market news, what have you guys seen both in the office and Jim, Kevin, Ray, you guys out on the road as far as waiting times, things like that, load cancellations? What kind of fluctuations in the market have you guys seen?
I'm seeing it tougher to book freight at the rates I want anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, all over really. It's been tough this week.
Yeah, rates are coming down, aren't they?
I started noticing it last week, but it really turned up this week, it seems. I don't know.
Yeah, it's getting tougher for sure.
I got 400 mile out of South Carolina today.
Yeah.
Starting to rely more on company freight when we haven't needed to. That's something that's changed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to have there. I know they're talking about the tonnage numbers and everything and tender rejections that have changed those schedules, which is atypical for March. Typically as we get into where flatbed starts to warm up and it's the end of quarter, we typically don't have these issues. And some people immediately hit a panic button and say it's just like '08 and things like that. I think there's some similarities in it. We've talked about that in the past, but I think the hope is we end up riding this. There was an article that we posted on Freight Waves talking about, if there's a downturn, what does it mean to guys that have heavy equipment costs? So in some of the market reporting stuff that I did, I made a little presentation today to cover that talks about how you can kind of get around that. And I think a lot of it too, Mike, turns into driver behavior. What I'll show here in a little bit too is that, when you're open to where you go and what you pick up and you're not putting limitations on you, you're going to be wildly successful as opposed to marginally successful. I think that's the biggest thing to communicate, is to make sure you keep your ears open and your options open as you're driving down the road. There is a time to be picky. It's just not now. We've had the luxury for a while to be picky. And I think if we can continue to be strong in our approach, that it'll help stabilize the market too.
Yeah, and I don't want to get, when I say it's getting tougher, like we got to realize rates are still good, really good. But it comparatively, the past year has been the best year in trucking ever as far as rates are concerned.
Yeah.
But you kind of knew as quick as it went that high, the downturn was coming at some point.
Right.
I still believe that right now is the time to pay off debt and prepare for a downward market at some point down the road. When it's going to happen, I don't know, but we know it's coming.
Right.
And I think that this should be the time to start paying off debt. That way, whenever the market does a correction, we're not upside down, and especially our equipment cost, because it's the guy that has the lower operating costs that's going to survive the downward turn.
Yep. It's one of the smartest things I've ever heard, right? The guy with the lowest overhead's the guy that wins the most. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. Yep.
And then, you get the rate, like I said, the rates aren't that bad, but the rates start dropping and then fuel's not dropping. That's when you'll see some guys really start to struggle. Fuel prices stay up and rates.
The fuel has been dropping here the last 3 days, though.
Little bit.
Yeah, not by a significant measure. I think that the downside and what Mike was talking about is that overall the shrinkage in the market has caused that. And we saw this even some during the 30 days. Now, while we had a horrible drop off during that 30 or 45 day period in April 2 years ago, can't believe it's been 2 years now. We had guys cutting each other's throats out there, and we still see it where I'll be on the phone, and I won't be on the phone, but I'll hear the team be on the phone, and they'll end up giving a rate, and they say, well, that's just, we just covered one at this. And look, I understand they're not honest a lot of times the other end of the phone. But when they're not budging, you have to be able to learn to walk away. You have to be able to say, that's not the piece of freight for today.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest part, is making sure that you understand that if you work at it and you make more phone calls and you call more people and go into your Rolodex, those that you've taken care of during the high times, they need to take care of you when the market's falling, and specifically have that conversation. I've got a broker that's going to come here out of Chicago here in about a month. And I told him, I appreciate you coming out of here, while it's falling. So this way we can hold you to account in person. But part of it is, hey man, we covered you when rates got high. We didn't take a discount to move your freight, but we didn't bend you over. We also didn't take advantage of you. So I think it's good to remind them and just have that conversation that says, hey, with where things are going, your rates with your customer have not changed overnight. Just what you pay and are.
Right. Yep.
I got a question for you, Christian.
Yeah,
Right now, like one of the things that I've been noticing, and this is not only in the trucking market, but in the everyday market, I've been, they're talking a lot about inflation. We got hyperinflation coming up in the horizon. We got what's it called, the percentage going up through the Fed. There's a lot of things that are gonna. How do you think that's gonna affect us down the road in trucking?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. So I was cutting trees with my son over a piece of property. He does some side work, and he's a president of a bank, and he's been at it for years. And he was saying, and I was talking about transportation. He did some consulting with a larger carrier around here, so it was a real easy conversation. And I just asked him, I said, where are the banks at in all this? And he said, I'll tell you. He said, there's a lot of indicators that show that we have a similar cooling period the same way we did to 2008. He said, but the good news is we can pull out of it. We can pull out of it. There's still enough demand going on that we can pull up. He said, unfortunately, the Federal Reserve and the interest rates are going to drive that. And he said, if they continue to raise rates, they may drive us right into a recession. He said, I'd like to think that they wouldn't. But indicators from the past are that every single time that we're in this situation, that's the time that the federal government says, let's go ahead and raise the rates. And he says it almost launches us into this period of having recession and inflation and those things that accompany it. He's hopeful that at this point in time, because we're coming off such a massive recovery of jobs and everything else, that they don't want to have any kind of mid-air stall. And he's put together a lot of information to prepare to speak to the federal government at several different levels about this. And he's pulled up articles from 2008, 6 months before the 2008 crash, the federal government saying everything's healthy, we have great growth. And they're like 7,000 government accounting personnel signed off on this saying, yes, the economy's in good shape. 6 months later, it was in the toilet. And so he's saying, hey, there's a lot of things that we don't see. But, one thing's consistent. The common denominator is when we're facing tough times, we don't need to make them tougher. So that's his pitch. And I do feel, people talk about inflation and what the actual inflation is. I'll get the website. There's a website that he referred me to that I don't have on hand. And it's really neat. You can actually pull up your area, for instance, in Roanoke, Virginia, or Barberton, Ohio, or the Gulf Shores of Louisiana, wherever you're at down there. But you can end up pulling it up, and it talks about your localized inflation. And he was talking about how it's saying that it's 10%, but it's a stable 7.5% for our area. Well, you hear that inflation's at 4%, and it seems like a margin of error. When you start talking about 7 or 10%, that's a real number. The good news is everyone on this podcast, and probably most of the people listening to it, is that we still work every day, and we can get out there and earn more money. The problem is those that are on Social Security and pensions that are fading, and they're the ones that are going to be hit hardest. Can you imagine having a 10 or 15% increase in your expenses, but no way to justify it with revenue?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and the revenue coming into us right now, we're enjoying the rates right now, but we all know that this is going to translate into everything that we buy in the market, And,
correct.
And that's going to affect those people on a budget. It's going to affect a lot of people who are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, and that's the article that I read earlier that said we have such an inflated trailer cost, truck cost, and everything else, and banks have leveraged a lot of this. They've gotten smarter. They're making you put 30% down instead of 3%, right? Because we don't need the housing and urban development version of 2008 into the trucking version of 2022, which is where banks are under leveraged and they can't cross collateralize anything. And when the government goes in and they try to audit their books saying, hey, nothing's worth what it used to, you need to call these notes. And the next thing we know with the FDIC is going in and taking control of banks. That's what they don't want to have happen. So thankfully, a majority of banks have hedged their bets from my understanding. And even what we see around here, that you don't have a lot of kind of subprime loan, feel about things, loan sharks. But the issue is we have such an inflated cost. So, a truck that you would pick up for $40,000 is 85, or a trailer for 20 is now 40, right? That trailer cost doesn't go away, regardless of where rates are. So right. I think, part of it, like you said, Ian, is making sure that if you have an avenue for customer freight or consistent freight, you get back on it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of customers that we haven't talked to in a while, we're starting to open up those channels of conversations again. And DAT put on a link about, how to win during RFPs. If you would have told me in January when things were hot that in March or April that they'd be soliciting for RFPs, I'd say you're crazy and you need to go home. You need to take the day off. Because, the market typically, it does adjust, but it typically doesn't adjust overnight. So we're swimming upstream, but we have a goal. And I think that long as everybody's in that goal together and doesn't take cheap freight, it'll help hold the line as best we can. And the indicators show us that because the contract rate and the spot rate are still mimicking each other.
What do you think when trucks, like the new trucks, when they start getting the new trucks in, inventory starts coming in, parts start coming in, and new trucks start rolling out, you think that's going to have a big effect on rates?
I think
coming down when those new trucks start hitting the market. I
mean, what are the prices of the new trucks? I think we kind of answer our own question. If we're spending, $200,250,000 on trucks when they come in, and we can't get high pressure fuel pumps for a DD15, and we can't get, certain internal engine components. I'd say when the infrastructure is not broken, I would be concerned about it. But I'm concerned about it because I don't think rates are driven off of availability. And I don't feel that we have enough trucks coming into the market to take up for the ones that are leaving. I think it's the truck problem is much like the driver issue. We have ones coming in. The quality is questionable until we get to test it, just like a truck. But then we also have a huge number of trucks leaving the market, right? I mean, just things that are being retired. I mean, that's the reason people are rebuilding. I've seen more rebuilt 12.7 Detroits and 3406s on Craigslist and eBay than I ever have in my life, or truck paper. Because people know that when they rebuild it, they're going to get another 500,000 miles out of it for 20 or 30 grand, as opposed to spending $80,000 on a truck that they don't know they can trust.
Yeah.
So I don't think one is indicative of the other as far as rates. I'm hoping that when people start paying $250,000 for a truck or whatever they're going to pay on how their truck is suited, that they'll have their real life realization that no, I can't take $1.85 to $2.25 anymore. We need to cut that out of our mentality. Regardless of where fuel goes, we need to cut those rates out.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ray.
I was going to say too that there is the other side of this coin as well, because there's a lot of people that jumped into this market when the rate is averaging about $3 a mile, anywhere between $2.50, $3.50, $4 a mile.
Yep.
Do you really think these people are going to be able to survive when we do go down to $1.80? Because I believe it's coming. I just don't know when. And the people who have purchased equipment at the cost that it's at right now, they won't be able to survive on that lower rate. And you're going to have a lot of markets just reabsorbing the truck sales that people can no longer pay for.
Well, easy math says that when we were looking and Russ had mentioned that you're going to make roughly 40 to 50% of your settlement. And if we go from $3.50 a mile down to $1.80, even fuel adjusted, there's no one except someone that owns their truck and doesn't owe anybody else that's going to survive. So the good news is, if you've been listening, and as everyone on the show said, is keep cash king, hoard it away, keep your powder dry, then you'll be able to buy trucks so cheap. If that does happen, it would be unfortunate, but you'll be able to buy trucks less, more effective and less costly than you ever have before. But there's going to be a lot of heartache. There's going to be a lot of heartache there. So, like any other business owner, keep your costs down, make sure you stay occupied inside that truck, and that you're not picky about what you're doing. I think you'll be just fine. We'll be able to ride it out. At the end of the day, the federal government, whether we like it or not, does not let full industries fail. They've bailed out technology firms. They've bailed out, auto manufacturers. I'm not saying they're gonna bail out what is 90% of the trucking industry that's got less than 10 trucks, but we understand that they're going to do things to make sure we continue to move down the road. And, I'm the last one that really wants to see a lot of regulation. If I did, it would be shippers and receivers times and detentions.
Yeah.
And, they can work on parking and infrastructure bills that actually go towards infrastructure. But, I'm not a doom and gloom guy. It's realistic. I like to see what's out there. And I think each week we can continue to give updates. There are markets that are still warm. But when you got guys that are blindly just driving around like, oh, Atlanta's usually got a lot of freight. Well, then you get there, does it? So the biggest thing is planning. If you don't have rate view on DAT, and that is one indicator that has 7 day, at least 7 day, depends on what you pay for, you can get a pretty realistic expectation as far as what the markets are doing with their beta version 2. So spend the extra $50 or $100 a month and know where you're going and what you expect to get out of there.
And also call us too, because if you're a guy who books himself, you might not have, the view that we in the office may have, and we're here to help you with this, and we're glad to talk to you and guide you where to go to.
Yeah, we had one that came off self-dispatch this past week, and he's been happy this week. He said, "I'm moving. You're keeping me moving. You're keeping me profitable." He said, what I noticed was I narrowed my focus a little too much. So it's good. And you're right. You do have to lean on them. And we have different company freight options as well. We also have the ability to have, with Metalark, 300 and some odd boots on the ground every single day that tells us what data is out there or out of our own terminals and what guys are seeing. Because when Florida warms up, you don't want to wait for a trend that's 7 days old. You want to wait for the guy that's been booking that freight. Like, Joel, you were talking about freight that you just picked up here recently, didn't you?
Today.
South Carolina or something?
Yeah, pretty good rate coming out of there.
And do you know what the index was on that as far as a load to truck ratio?
I got like 385. I know you didn't ask me that.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, if you guys got time, I made a little presentation. I touched something that's from Orangeburg, South Carolina, is where I pulled the data. So if I can screen share, and this way we can kind of walk through a little bit. Everybody can see the episode 51.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you see now?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, wow.
How'd you get my picture?
I thought you were a little tanner than that, Ray. I tend to believe Joel a little more often.
Shave my belly button.
So what?
He's got
That
lips.
looks like me. Like I thought I was looking in the mirror.
Guys, if you think I'm fitting to a 56, you guys have a different thing coming right now. It's
I didn't see that part. Okay.
It was bulking season.
I missed the 56 part.
That's funny. But so, Joel, this kind of ties in what you're saying about South Carolina, because I pulled a bunch of information from Orangeburg, South Carolina is where I ended up taking it from. I looked at 10 different locations with 10 different city and states in DAT, and all had about the comparable data. So what I did was I pulled up a bunch of lanes, and then I said, if just how we slice the pizza pie by, tolls and everything else, I did the same thing with weight. And so I wanted to find out what portions of freight that are out there on the board that guys are waiting for lighter freight because of fuel right now. And it's a good idea to find cheaper, less heavy freight. And so here's what we did. So here's the different bands that we have. So we have less than 2,000 pounds, something that weighs between 2,000 and 10,000, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and then 30 to 44, what we basically run as a legal max. So what percentage of freight, if you guys had to guess, would end up falling in less than 2,000 pounds on the DAT?
From where? What do you mean?
From any location, if you looked at the load board and said, I'm going to take these 1,000 loads that are in any of these 10 cities and run them into a calculator.
Less than 2,000?
Like 1%.
Yeah, like less than 5% for sure.
Okay. You guys are dead on so far. So congratulations. Too bad Kumar's not here. But what we're doing is we're missing the other 97% of the opportunities are out there if that's all we're looking for. And I know we talked about this 3 weeks ago with Russ, that it's a great tactic to have when we do have it as a luxury. What about 2 to 10,000 pounds? What do you guys think would
you're
make up
still
that?
going to be under 7%.
Yeah.
Boom. Look at that. So still, if you combine the 8% there, still 92% of the market of missed opportunities or windows or rate negotiation is what we're going to call it. And I guess you guys can guess that one.
For that, yeah.
I was going to say under 10.
All right. And 83% of the missed opportunity in the market. What about between 20 and 30?
It's under 17%, somewhere 15%.
Wow.
Yep. Right.
I would
there.
have thought more than that.
That's nuts.
So
yeah,
by the
see,
way,
that's tough. That makes it tough when you're looking for, and then trying to negotiate a good rate on those when it seems like everybody and their mother wants that 10,000 pound load, and they'll take it for whatever you tell them to.
Right.
And when fuel's down, you can negotiate a little better because it's not the topic that everyone's looking at, right? But then you've got 72% of the rest of the freight lies between 30 to 44,000 pounds. So if you're looking for something under 30,000 pounds, you're taking 3 out of every 4 loads and throwing it in the trash. Doesn't matter about the rate. Doesn't matter where it's going. Doesn't matter where it's delivering. And so there are a lot of lighter loads that are out there, roughly, 28% of them. But if you have 28% of those loads, we don't even know when they deliver, what their delivery schedules look like, whether the broker has credit, all the other factors that you have, you still have to factor in because you want to make sure you get paid for it. If we ran it to a pie chart, like a pizza pie, this is what it looks like. Here's the 72% if you threw out everything over 30,000 pounds. And this is all you get to eat.
Wow. That's crazy. Under 30, I would have thought that number was higher.
Yeah, sure. And that's from today, and it might be something cool to look at a quarterly basis to see how that changes the influx with the year. On a quarterly basis.
30 is a good weight though. It's not bad.
So now let's look at the same thing with load volume by weight, right? So is it really worth the weight? And that means, is it worth the weight, like the weight that we're carrying? But does it also mean, is it worth the weight of going and continuously trying to find, freight? Have to wait for it. So load volume by weighted band. So in less than 2,000 pounds, of the 1,000 pieces of freight that are out there, there's only 29. If we look at 2 to 10,000, there's 47 loads that are there. So we have 29 plus 47 up to this point that are less than 10,000 pounds. And we have to understand that some of the stuff that's under 2,000 pounds, I saw some of it that was like 1 pound, things like that are not, statistically accurate, but it's still there.
Right. They got listed at 40 pounds when it's 40,000.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And they generate a lot of calls. 10 to 20,000 pounds would be 80 loads. And then we get into 20,000 to 30,000 pounds would be 96 loads. And here's the kicker. So of the 1,000 loads that you have, if you're willing to do 30,000 pounds or above, you have the negotiating. Well, first you have all 1,000 loads, but you also are able to pick up the 645. So as Mike was talking today about where we're going. Now, God forbid we end up saying, let's take the Northeast out of this, and let's take the Northwest out of it, and let's take Ohio off there. And I don't want to do tolls or mountains. It really changes the demographic of what you can pick up. But this is what it looks like.
LTO.
So, yeah.
Wow.
And it's pretty eye-opening.
Crazy. Yeah.
So on the flip side, there are some benefits, right? So you have less wear and tear on your tires and brakes. Axle weight issues, right? Having to make sure you go back to the shipper and get reloaded. If you're under 30,000 pounds, you're not really worried about that. Unless you have somebody with a high school diploma that is just doesn't care and just shoves it way up towards the nose and just says, hey, that's it. Good luck. I'll see you in 15 minutes when you get pulled over and you have to come back. And we've all had guys that have had to been reloaded, but you also don't have as many issues on DOT scales, statistically speaking, and you're going to get better fuel mileage, which is the reason to do it.
Unless you have a driver that's weighing 25,000 pound loads. I got some scale tickets. I was like, what are you doing, man? You can't
on
tell
the 6 hole.
You can't tell you need a scale ticket.
10,000 pounds.
So how do we end up winning in a down market, right? So there's just two kind of quotes that I saw that really made sense. I thought Tim Tebow said this. It said Tim Notke. Don't know who that is, but it's hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard. And so I think the one thing is we have to get out there and beat the streets. You have to be able to beat people up on the phone and negotiate. If you have customer freight, you have to make sure that you don't allow them to control the conversation. If they call you and say we need to adjust rates, I'm not there yet. Fuel is not adjusted. I'm just not having that conversation. And then you get to find out the loyalty of that customer. And then this really goes in with what Ray was talking about. Work until every expensive thing becomes cheap. Now, that's talking about things that you want to buy. But I took this as, your truck, your trailer payment, right? All the things that you can control, and even your fuel, right? Is it a time to look at spending $10,000 on an APU? Depends on your truck, the year, make, and mileage, and how long you plan on having it. But you want to work until everything that you have is basically paid for. And with hard work, so I've changed up the occupancy-based revenue report a little bit. But if you look at hard work, it's guys that are out there utilizing the truck that don't want to make excuses about being home 4 days a week. And, by the way, everybody needs to take time off, but it is when you work, you go to work. So we have, 4 examples here. Driver A was at 100%. He occupied the truck 100% of the time of the week. His occupancy-based revenue was 124%. He did $10,200 on 3,048 miles at $335 a mile. Ran in Ohio, Carolina, PA, and out to Missouri with a 34-hour restart. On the week, he was $1,900 above his target. Driver B, also in a dry van, did 127% of their target. 100% occupancy, again, fully occupied truck. Revenue is $10,150. Kentucky, Virginia, PA, back to Virginia, back up to Maryland, back to Carolina. I can tell you driver B does not really care for Maryland and Pennsylvania, but he cares a lot more about eating and making sure his truck payment's paid. So kudos. Driver C, same thing. Well, this was 86% occupancy, but that wasn't because he went home. It was because of an hours of service issue that he had on the second. But 129% of the goal, $9,420, which is $920 above their stated goal. 2,709 miles at $3.48. Little different runs was Illinois, Michigan, down to Carolina, and then back up to Massachusetts. And then driver D was the last one, also 100% occupancy. And this is the thing. A lot of what guys are hearing, they're starting to say, you know what, this isn't the time to take off. I had a gentleman that was down, had trailer repairs. He's down this week. He just said, look, if I need to run for 2 months, I'm going to run for 2 months. I'm going to make this happen. And when you have a guy with a can-get attitude like that, you get results like this. 114% occupancy-based revenue, occupied the truck 100% of the time, $9,100 on $3.64. And he stayed in Ohio and Carolina, with the exception of Indiana, the entire time. And you have everything here that's in green, which means they're ready to take freight. They're not worried about weight. They're not worried about where things go. They just understand that at the end of the day, they're here to make money. And here's the states they ran in. So we didn't have to run the whole country. We just tried to stay where we knew we could end up having a high cent per mile and a high gross revenue. And we all know that there's a lot of hills through here. So it's not the most friendly territory for fuel, but it is friendly for the pocketbook.
Yeah, a lot of guys really hate running down there, but like you said, it pays. It pays.
Where I missed that part. Where was that at?
Maryland and West Virginia, running past those and whatnot.
Yeah, I've been running guys over there.
Was
more
it
than usual.
The 68 and the 64 that are the worst guys?
68 is the worst in the East.
Yeah.
68 really sucks, but 64 is not really all that bad.
I gotcha. No, and going back to the customer freight, one thing I want to say with that is make sure you service it well, because if that's gone, and that's not just gone for you, but it's gone for everyone else who runs that too. There's a lot of people that affects.
For sure.
That's a problem we had with customer freight before, long time ago. But we turned that around, and if we have customer freight now, you bet your ass we're going to serve them well. So.
Yeah. So speaking of serving well, can we have someone light up Kumar on the phone?
Oh, wow. Zach, you got the FaceTime.
I'm not going to FaceTime him.
Oh, okay.
He won't answer.
Yeah, he won't answer a FaceTime, but you should send him a text and saying,
Probably don't want to see him.
He's going to be like, are you here with my soup?
yeah, no, we're not. We're not here with your soup. Here we go.
Is this question time?
Yeah, and remind him. Yeah, it's question time, Joel. Remind him he's on air just in the event that he.
Hello?
Hey.
Yo.
Bad news.
Huh?
The computer just blew up.
What?
You're live on
You're live in the
Truckin'.
air.
This is Questions with Kumar.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
I told
You
I
can't
was
hear
sick.
anything but me, so I'll have to relay the questions to you.
You're not allowed to
Kumar, are you ready?
Hope you're ready.
So here's the deal. So I guess, why don't I get the drivers, Mike?
Christian's saying, here's the
Okay.
deal. How about I get the driver?
Right.
I'm just kidding.
And then you'll end up getting Kumar. And that works. And then if
Somebody
Kumar
hits
wins,
Kumar.
Joel gives him $20 for being a good sport when he's sick. How about that?
There we go.
Then now he's got an
$1 a
incentive to
week
win.
for 20 weeks.
Somehow you're getting money.
Okay.
All right, Kumar. Question 1.
Question 1.
Ready, guys? Which state has the most truck stops? Is it A, Texas, B, Iowa, C, Tennessee, or D, Ohio?
All right, which state has the most truck stops? What were the choices?
Texas, Iowa,
Texas, Iowa,
Tennessee, or Ohio?
Tennessee, or Ohio?
Iowa.
What are you, on Google?
Sounds like you got it right.
Yeah, Joel, that's not how the game is played, Joel. We give the guys a chance to answer.
Yeah, we gotta let Jim answer it. I mean, I think he might have known
Supposed
that.
to make him doubt his question
Well,
first.
even if he did,
That's right. Hey, are you sure? Yeah,
Well, it's
you're
not
right.
right,
Are you
but
sure
I'm
that's
just
the
saying, are
answer?
you on Google?
You sure you want to stick with that?
Yeah,
Kumar?
you got to make him. Yeah, you
All
gotta
right.
make him doubt first.
They're badgering you
Yeah.
and changing your answer.
Drivers, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with Kumar and say Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poker faced that one, didn't I? All right.
I would have said
well,
Texas, but
All right, it's
It's
1-0.
actually Texas now.
it's actually Tennessee. No, Iowa has the biggest and the most. All right,
Joel, you're
question
giving away your
2.
own money. If he wins, you're giving him $20. So you're just hedging.
Kumar, you
your
got
own
in here and looked at this before you left, didn't you? Which chain has the most truck stops in the U.S.? Is it A, Love's, B, Pilot, C, TA, or D, Bucky's?
TA.
What do you guys think? Which chain has the most truck stops in the
Well,
U.S.?
I'm gonna go with Loves.
I'm gonna go with Pilot. Yeah, Pilot.
I was like, is Bucky's even considered a truck stop?
It is?
No,
they don't.
no trucks allowed.
Yeah.
All right, well, Kumar didn't know that. All right, Kumar says TA, and the final answer is Pilot with 740.
Nice.
Loves
The
at
correct
second,
answer was Pilot.
over 500.
I
TA's is
should've
third,
known that.
and Bucky's don't take trucks. Okay, question 3, Kumar.
Question 3.
As of last month, which individual chain truck stop was voted first place by more than 1 million users of the Trucker Path app? Was it A, the Loves in Bliss, Idaho? Was it B, the Pilot in Millhall, Pennsylvania? Was it C, the Little America in Green River, Wyoming? Or was it D, the TA in Oakley, Kansas? And these were all based on ratings, reviews,
The
feedback, and votes. As of last month,
He said the Loves.
The Loves in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Kumar thinks it was the Loves in Bliss, Idaho. Guys, do you have your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Voted first place, individual train stop.
I'm
Chain.
gonna go with Little America.
Yeah, I'll
This is
agree
Little
with you.
America. What does Kumar say?
He said Loves.
Kumar. The answer is Pilot in Millhall, Pennsylvania.
What?
The drivers got it wrong, too.
1 and 2.
Darn.
All right, well, go visit there. All right, so
So it's 1-1.
I'm gonna take my next vacation there.
Russia actually went there. All right, question 4. Same question. As of last month, which independent truck stop was voted first place by more than 1 million users on the Trucker Path app? Was it Russell's truck stop in Glen Rio, New Mexico? Was it the Boise Stage stop in Boise, Idaho? Was it the Big App truck stop in Joplin, Missouri? Or was it Burt's truck stop in Wellsville, Kansas? Which independent truck stop was voted first place by more than 1 million users?
Can you go over the answers one more time?
Oh, my
That's
Lord.
Russell's in New Mexico. That's the Boise Stage in Boise. The Big App in Joplin, Missouri. Or Burt's in Wellsville, Kansas.
He went with Boise?
Is that a keyboard I hear typing in the background? Why is he asking?
Oh,
the question the second time?
that's my keyboard. That's
Oh,
me.
okay.
How do you?
Yeah,
How do you
no
say it?
worries. I want to see what Russell's looks
100%
like.
occupancy.
Russell's pretty
And
cool.
Kumar, what do you think?
How do you spell
Independent truck
Boise
stop.
out of?
Kumar
one did you say?
says Boise Stage
Oh, yeah,
stop in
Boise.
Boise, Idaho. Well, the answer was Burt's truck stop in Wellsville, Kansas.
Nice. I'm really glad you.
Was that 1 to 3?
No, it's still 1-1.
That's 1 to
Yeah,
3.
just,
All right. Well, question
All right.
5.
just keep going.
Which was voted the most unforgettable truck stop?
Jesus.
Oh,
As of
man.
last month?
Gracious.
I got to relay every one of these, so please slow down.
Was it A, the Jubitz truck stop, Portland, Oregon?
What was the question?
Which was voted the most unforgettable truck stop as of last month? Was it the Jubitz in Portland, Oregon? Was it the Whiskey Pete's in Preem, Nevada? Was it the North 40 truck stop in Holiday, Tennessee? Or was it the Sapp Brothers in Sidney, Nebraska? Most unforgettable truck stop voted as of last month.
Joel, my headphones fell off. What was the last answer?
25%. Last answer, Sapp Brothers, Sydney,
Australia?
No, Nebraska.
We'll go with Jubits.
Jubits.
Most unforgettable by me or by everybody else?
Kumar.
He said Jubits.
All right, that's right.
Drivers, what do you think?
Whiskey Pete's.
Whiskey Pete's is cool. They used to give 100 gallons of gas, cut you a few free buffet. All right, are you ready?
Building.
Jubits, just the Jubits in Portland. So was it 2-2? Ding, ding, ding.
Wow, yeah. Kumi, you were right.
Tied up.
What's the most
that one.
forgettable truck stop now?
All right, that's it. Jubits. Question 6. We're getting through this. You ready?
All right, Kum. Question 6.
Fun fact. Which dish has the most calories? Is it Mel's Mega Burger in Tomball, Texas? Is it Jack and Grill's 7-pound burrito in Denver? Or is it a Fifth Third burger in Comstock, Michigan? Which dish has the most calories?
Did you say a fifth?
The
third
burrito.
burger?
Kumar says the 7-pound burrito in Denver. What do y'all think?
I think the burger.
Which one?
The last one.
Ray? Nate?
I guess I'll go with the first.
He goes with the first one. All right, Kumar said Jack and Grill's 7-pound burrito that comes in at a whopping 3,764 calories, and that's third. Second is Mel's Mega Burger coming in at 4,556 calories, and the winner is the $20 Fifth Third burger coming in at a whopping 4,800 calories.
I'm so proud to be an American right now.
Yeah. Well, Kum, you were off by a lot, but
So,
Can't wait for dinner tonight.
nobody else
So
got
my
it
gut.
Subway for all you drivers out
Oh,
there.
nice.
All right.
You just go to
So
Steak and Shake and order a
2-2.
7x7.
I had the drivers, right, Mike?
You might have kept the score.
Yeah.
So what are we just going to make Russ pay since he's not here, right?
That's
Like
appropriate.
the
All
last
right,
one.
so we have quorum, so let's vote on this. That Russ is going to pay the 50 and also 20 to Kumar for calling him when he's sick. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah,
I-
bye.
Write Russ down for 70 on that paper.
The yeas have it. Yeah. 70 on Russ.
With these
Put it in.
questions, feel free to
Happy
help.
birthday, old man.
Are we done with Kum? Is he
Yeah,
unshackled?
Coom. Yeah, go back under your blankets,
All right.
bud. Hope you feel better.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
the truck stop.
See ya.
Yeah. You wouldn't answer the FaceTime call because he's in his hospital gown.
Speaking of being sick, Joel, you have not coughed once with Russ not being here.
I coughed
Right.
one
There,
time.
yeah, there was one earlier.
Oh, was there? I
Yeah, it was
missed
during
Yeah.
your presentation.
Yeah. He's allergic to Russell, I guess.
Yes.
Must be that balance of nature stuff I'm taking. I don't know.
I'm sure that's it. That's 100% it. Yep.
Yeah, over 50 pills.
I don't think that's
All right, well, that's the show.
yeah, this is family appropriate, not making families.
All right.
What else you guys got? I know it's
Mike,
been
catch any fish?
Well, I do have
No.
a question.
I haven't been.
So, with this whole thing on marijuana going through the government as far as trying to be legalized, what kind of impact do you think that, if it is federally legalized, would have on the industry?
Well, I don't see drivers being able to use it in that way, but with transporting it, that's going to open up, a whole nother window of things that we can move. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I feel the same way. I think that transporting it, it'll add some to the market. But I mean, we're still under the same federal regulations, regardless of what you can do in your personal life.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody wants somebody driving down the road stoned.
I'm going to predict that Nate's coming up for random pretty soon.
Yeah.
Right. Next
No, I
month.
mean, I just seen it. Literally, it popped up on my news app yesterday. That the Senate had passed the bill
Mhm.
that just needs to go through the House now. So I thought that was interesting because I figured the federal government would be the last ones. I figured the states would all, jump
Right.
on that bandwagon first.
So is it official that we've lost the war on drugs now? I just don't know where
Oh,
we
yeah.
stand.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
that's
drugs
been
won.
official.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, drugs won.
Yeah. No, not my house. They didn't. But,
Another thing that I also see happening is, Colorado and I think Oregon as well has used a lot of the proceeds from marijuana sales for their roads and schools. So, might be seeing some less potholes out there. Maybe more potheads, but less potholes.
Less potholes.
that's great.
Yeah.
So,
Nate, you've been chosen for random.
So you guys want to light one later or what, boys?
Oh man, yeah. Sure.
Nope. So, Mike, how's Fish Stalkers going over there, man?
Good. We're open 7 days now.
Yeah,
Good.
CBD fish bait.
You guys got all that.
CBD.
Ray, you're the last one I thought would circle us right back into this conversation.
It's the first one.
Yeah, how are your fish so calm?
Ray's
man?
gonna get
How
the
are your fish
rant.
so calm.
Dude, man, that's how you catch a flounder.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
Hey, that flounder's already lying down on its side at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, shit. It's gotta be
Yeah.
Oh man.
so
No,
common
everything's
collectives.
going good though.
Good. And that's Fish Stalkers with a Z for those that are going on Facebook that want to watch his bait videos and all. Fish Stalkers with a Z.
Excuse me.
I don't know, some of that bait I see on his pictures and stuff, I'd rather eat it than to give it to a pig.
Yeah, right.
Some of those shrimp are big.
Bring my Louisiana hot sauce.
I keep saying I'm gonna put a food truck out the back and slang some.
Did you do the
fried
raw shrimp challenge
baskets.
What is the raw shrimp challenge?
Eat as many raw
Eat a
shrimp
raw.
as
I think somebody
you
wants me to eat a raw shrimp. I'm sure I can get. I'm sure I can get one of the kids' friends in here to eat
Oh god.
a live shrimp or something.
That's not
I'm not
good for
gonna eat
you.
one.
Russell
All
will
the
do it.
parasites?
Yeah, that's different.
All right.
So,
Well,
Mike,
I mean,
are
I
you on the
think-
water? The boats, are they able to come up to your place?
No, there's a marina right down the road, but no, they're not able to pull up.
Because it looks like it on the map, right? Bayshore Drive looks like it almost runs right to it. So you're right before a bridge, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Good. How are the kids? Are they complaining about working 80 hours a week?
It's getting there. They're
Yeah, it's
already
good.
talking about doing the split shift, splitting their shifts because I got them working from 6 a.m. to 6 at night, 7 days a week.
Man.
And actually,
They're gonna unionize
Saturday and
on you.
Sunday, I got them coming in at 5 a.m. to 6 p.m.
You're gonna have a strike soon. Your kids
So
are gonna
you,
unionize against you.
Do they clean fish?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that
Nice.
video where George Bush was talking to a lady, and she's like, "I've got to work 3 full-time jobs to pay my bills," and he's like, "All right, we're living the American dream."
Oh jeez. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive.
Yeah. No, I got lucky. They work hard, so
That's good.
they bust their butt.
It's good.
So that's good.
Sure beats the alternative of them living in your house and not wanting to pay a bill. So
Yeah.
you've done something right.
Right.
See.
So
Well, I mean, do they get a discount on the goods in there, or they get it at cost, or are you still doing a little 20 over cost markup for them?
oh yeah, they got it. Oh yeah, they missed when they missed some items that they didn't ring up. They're paying for it.
Nice. That's great.
No, I
$2
give him a hard
bobber
time.
is coming out of your
I-
pension.
Actually, my youngest one, he missed the bucket the other day. He was like, he came up to me like, but I paid for it.
Oh,
He did
That's
it on
good,
his
man.
own.
That's good. That's solid.
we'll do
He's
it
like,
again.
I figure I'll learn that way. I won't miss it again because it was like his second time missing. So but they've never worked in retail before either. So.
Yeah, see, I know nothing about
learning
the
curve.
type of fishing you're doing. It's not like Calcutta or umbrella rigs for striper fishing or anything else, right?
No, it's mostly inshore. Like, well, what we do is inshore. Red fishing, though, your son would get a kick out of it if he's into bass fishing because it's a lot like bass fishing. You're just kind of, hunting the fish, and it's a lot, trolling if you do it that way, like the mangrove lines and just casting if you're using lures. So it's a lot like bass fishing, red fishing is.
Well, when you guys get your guide service, Fish Stalkers with a Z guide service down, let me know. We'll come on down there.
You sell
Yeah.
fishing license there at your place?
No, I just put a link on our website to FWC so they can go get it. You can just go to FWC and get it.
And it's just an app on your phone that you keep it, like the VDGIF app in Virginia. It just stays on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just pay
Cool.
for the fishing license. It just stays on your phone.
Excellent. Well, good guys. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. We're going to wish Russ a happy birthday. So happy birthday, 50 years old.
Birthday,
Which,
Russ.
it comes with
Half
what,
a century.
half a century,
Don't forget your colonoscopy.
and an earlier bedtime. So we also want to make sure that we thank our sponsors here for today. I'll also, since Kumar's not here, Ian, I'll have you plug the social media if you want to do that first.
Oh man, I don't have the readout in front of me. Zach, do you know it?
Talkin Truckin with no G's on everything.
Right on point. There it is. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Audible. Right?
I thought you were gonna go run through the whole thing, but okay.
No, that was
Everybody
it.
knows what we're on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Race cousin.
And then we also like to thank you, not only Fish Stalkers with a Z, but also Truck Works, Kenworth of Dothan, Alabama, Over the Road Apparel, work clothes for the modern working trucker, Prime Wellness and Performance in San Antonio, Texas, to get yourself healthier or just that beach body, Owl's Quality Market in Barberton, Ohio, and the best meat in Barberton, and the Gator Drive-Thru in Portage Lakes. So make sure that you comment, like, subscribe, share, follow us on all the social media platforms. And go Rangers, go Jets, and go Mets.
Yeah, nice.
Be safe, guys.
Jets. You know what the Jet stands for, right?
What, Joel?
Just end the season, right?
Yeah.
Just end the
Just end the show.